Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off our presentation today. The topic is summarizing key information, which is essential for effective communication and decision-making. On this first slide, I just want to warmly welcome you all and give a quick overview of what we'll be covering. We'll explore techniques for condensing complex data, highlighting what matters most, and making information clear and impactful. So let's get started and make this session engaging and insightful. Let's take a closer look at the content slide. Here, we see a structured overview of the presentation. Notice that the sections are numbered, which helps us follow the flow of the session. The first part is about motivation, which sets the stage for why we're here and what we hope to achieve. Then, we move into questions, encouraging us to think critically and engage with the material. Rubrics are next, giving us clear criteria on how to approach assignments or assessments. The slide also highlights the importance of summarizing, evaluating, and understanding different groups' activities, as seen in the Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3 sections. We also have tips on summarizing a text, comprehension questions, and an assignment to reinforce learning. Overall, this slide serves as a roadmap for our session, guiding us through each key part of the presentation in a logical sequence. It's designed to keep us organized and focused on the main goals, understanding the material, engaging actively, and applying what we learn. Let's talk about motivation. Motivation is really the driving force behind why we do what we do. It helps us set our goals and stay committed, especially when challenges arise. Without motivation, even the best plans can fall apart because we lack that inner push to keep going. Throughout this presentation, you'll see how understanding motivation is key to improving performance and achieving success. It ties everything together, showing us why certain strategies work and others don't. So, keeping motivation high is fundamental to reaching our full potential. So, let's take a moment to reflect and connect. What did you all observe or think about the video we just watched? Any impressions or insights you'd like to share? Now, I'd like to ask, who among you has already been to Albay? Maybe you've seen its famous Mayon volcano or explored some of its beautiful spots. For those of you who haven't had the chance yet, would you be interested in visiting Albay someday? Imagine experiencing its natural wonders firsthand. These questions are not just about sharing experiences. They also tie into our bigger theme today, appreciating and exploring the beauty of our own country. It's about inspiring curiosity and encouraging travel, learning, and appreciation of places that hold cultural and natural significance. So, think about your own travel experiences or future plans, and keep in mind how these destinations can enrich your understanding of our culture and environment. All right, so on this slide, we're looking at the objectives for today's lesson. By the end of our session, I want you all to be able to do 3 key things. First, I want you to understand and define what a summary is. Basically, what do we mean when we talk about summarizing? What makes a good summary? Second, I want you to be able to perform the task of summarizing, whether you're working with a partner or in small groups. This will give you practical experience in applying what we've discussed. And third, I want you to reflect on why summarizing is so important. Why do we take the time to create summaries? How does it help us understand and communicate information better? These objectives are connected to the overall theme of today's lesson, which is about honing your skills in capturing the main ideas efficiently. Remember, the goal here is to not just learn the definition, but also to practice and see how it fits into your learning process. So, let's keep these objectives in mind as we move forward. Passage: cats are affectionate, cuddly, and independent. Unlike dogs, cats can stay on their own if you go away overnight. They don't need to be walked and can monitor their own food so they won't overeat. Also, because cats don't bark, your neighbors won't have to deal with any noise complaints. If someone is thinking about getting a pet, a cat can be a fantastic choice because of these qualities. They're low maintenance, quiet, and loving, making them a great fit for many lifestyles. Now, let's move on to the questions section. First, do you have pets at home? This question helps us reflect on our personal experiences and connect with the topic. Next, what are the supporting details? Remember, supporting details are the facts or ideas that back up the main idea of the passage. Then, do you take care of your pets? Taking care of pets is an important responsibility, and thinking about this helps us understand the importance of caring for animals. After that, what is the summary of this passage? Summaries help us grasp the main points quickly. Lastly, what is the main idea of this text? Identifying the main idea allows us to understand the core message. These questions are designed to deepen your understanding and connect the material to your own life, reinforcing the overall theme of responsible pet ownership and caring. So let's talk about the importance of a summary. A good summary is short, sweet, and gets straight to the point. It doesn't include those minor details that aren't really necessary. Instead, it captures the main events of the plot, giving you a clear overview without overwhelming you with information. Remember, a summary is always going to be much shorter than the original text. If it helps you understand the story better, then it's a good summary. This ties back to our overall theme of understanding and simplifying complex information, making it easier to grasp the core ideas quickly and effectively. Let's go over some tips for summarizing a text effectively. First, always read the entire text. This helps you get a complete understanding of the content before trying to condense it. Next, take notes of the important details that support the main idea. These supporting details are crucial because they help clarify and strengthen the main point. Then, focus on finding the main idea itself, the most important thought the text is trying to convey. Identifying this will guide your summary and ensure you capture the core message. Remember, when you're summarizing, use your own words. Think of yourself as the author, expressing the ideas in a way that makes sense to you and your audience. Following these steps will help you create clear, concise summaries that stay true to the original text while being easy to understand. Now, for this activity, we're going to divide the class into 3 groups. Each group will receive a different passage to work with. Your task is to read your passage carefully and then come up with a 1-sentence summary that captures the main idea. Remember, you'll have 5 minutes to complete this, so it's a good idea to work efficiently and stay focused. This activity is a great way to practice condensing information and identifying key points, which ties back to our overall theme of understanding and communicating complex ideas clearly. So, let's get into it and make the most of this time. Let's take a closer look at this table. You can see that the points are ranked from 15 down to 5, based on how relevant the statements are to the topic. When a statement is marked with a 15, it means it's both correct and highly relevant, so it aligns perfectly with our discussion. A score of 10 indicates that the statement is nearly relevant, so it's close, but not entirely on target. A 5 suggests that the statement is somewhat relevant. It touches on the topic, but doesn't quite hit the mark. This ranking helps us prioritize and evaluate information based on its importance and relevance to our overall theme. It's a useful way to ensure we're focusing on the most impactful points and maintaining clarity throughout our presentation. Now, let's talk about what bullying really means. Bullying is when someone is mean to another kid over and over again. It can take many different forms, and it's important to recognize all of them. Sometimes, it's teasing someone or threatening to hurt them. Other times, it might be telling lies about someone to make them look bad. Not including others on purpose is also a form of bullying because it makes the person feel left out and sad. Bullying isn't just physical. It can also happen through yelling or hitting. And in today's digital world, it can happen through text messages, emails, or even on social media sites like Facebook. This can include posting rumors, sharing embarrassing pictures or videos, or passing around hurtful messages. Understanding these different forms helps us see how bullying can happen anywhere, whether in person or online. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward preventing it and creating a safer, kinder environment for everyone. Being bullied can really make kids feel different from others, and often they might feel powerless or like they don't belong. It's important to understand that standing up for yourself can be very hard when you're being bullied, because the bully often seems more powerful and in control. This sense of imbalance can make it even more difficult to speak out or seek help. Being bullied doesn't just affect your feelings. It can also impact your health, making you feel sick or causing issues at school, like trouble concentrating or falling behind. Sometimes, Kids who are bullied might even start to think that bullying others could be a way to gain power or feel better about themselves. This highlights why it's so important to address bullying early and create a safe environment where everyone feels supported. Remember, no one deserves to feel alone or powerless, and there are ways to stand up and get help. This connects to our overall message about fostering kindness and understanding to prevent these hurtful situations. Let's take a closer look at some of the reasons why kids might bully others. One common reason is that they want to copy their friends. If they see their friends being mean or aggressive, they might think that's the way to fit in or be accepted. Another reason is that some kids believe that being a bully will help them gain respect or even make them popular among their peers. They might see bullying as a way to elevate their status or get attention. And sometimes, bullies think they are better than the kids they target. They use bullying as a way to prove their superiority or to feel powerful. Understanding these reasons helps us see that bullying often comes from insecurities or a desire for social approval. Recognizing these motivations is an important step in addressing and preventing bullying, because it shows us that these behaviors are rooted in complex feelings and social dynamics. Let's talk about evaluation. When we're asked to evaluate a text, the first step is to identify its central theme or main idea. This means figuring out what the author is really trying to communicate or what message they want us to take away. Once we have that, we look at how the author conveys this theme through specific details in the text. These details help us understand the message better and support the main idea. It's also important to provide a clear summary of the text that is separate from our personal opinions. So, we're focusing on describing what the text is about and how it's put together, rather than how we feel about it or whether we agree. Connecting this back to our overall presentation theme, evaluation helps us develop critical thinking skills. It encourages us to analyze not just what a text says, but how it says it and why those choices matter. This process strengthens our ability to interpret and understand a variety of texts more deeply. Now let's look at the first comprehension question. It describes a boy who, not knowing where he would end up, packed his things and headed out west. He took many days to reach his destination, feeling nervous and scared about what might be waiting for him. When he finally arrived, he wasn't sure if he was truly ready for what was to come. The question is, what was the boy doing? We have 4 options here. The first one, A, suggests that he was moving and starting a new life. That fits with the idea of heading out west without a clear destination, possibly seeking new opportunities or a fresh start. Option B says he was going to become an actor, which isn't supported by the details given. Option C mentions he was trying to find his long-lost brother, but there's no indication of that in the story. And D, going on vacation, also doesn't seem to match the feelings of nervousness and uncertainty that the story describes. So the key concept here is understanding the boy's journey as a significant life change, probably moving to a new place to begin something different. This question helps us connect to the broader theme of taking risks and stepping into the unknown, which is often a big part of personal growth and new beginnings. Let's take a closer look at question 2. In this story, Pedro is moving to a new place, specifically to Camarines del Sur. As his family travels, they stop in different provinces: Laguna, Quezon, and Bicol. Interestingly, none of these places are like his hometown, which suggests that his hometown has its own unique character. When Pedro finally arrives in his new hometown, he feels excited about living in a different province. Now, if we think about what this passage tells us, the key point is that Pedro anticipated that his new home would be different from where he came from, but he was still excited about the move. This shows a sense of adventure and openness to new experiences. Looking at the options, the best summary is that Pedro guessed his new hometown wouldn't be like his old one, but was still excited to move there. This highlights the idea that change can be both a bit uncertain and exciting at the same time, which ties into our overall theme of adapting to new environments. In this slide, we're looking at a story about Ryan and his money. Ryan earned money each week from chores, and his mother always told him it was his money, but to be careful about how he spends it. The key point here is that Ryan decided to take $25 from his piggy bank to buy candy. He looked at all the different types and ended up spending all of his money on candy. The most important message in this passage is about understanding how we make choices with our money. It highlights that Ryan wanted to spend his money on candy, which might not always be the best use of funds if we're trying to be responsible. So, when we think about the overall theme, this story teaches us about making wise spending decisions and being mindful of what we buy. The correct answer here is D. Ryan wanted to spend on useless things because it shows the importance of thinking before spending, especially on things that might not be necessary. So, in this slide, we're looking at a little girl who had the exciting opportunity to choose her own furniture and decorate her room. She picked a white bed and a cabinet that she really liked, and she decided to paint the walls pink and get a pink carpet. This shows how much she was looking forward to creating a space that felt special and personalized for her. The key idea here is that she was very excited about redesigning her room just the way she wanted. She made choices that reflected her preferences and her personality. This highlights the importance of making decisions and having a say in how our spaces look, which connects to the broader theme of independence and self-expression. Now, looking at the options, the best summary is that she was excited to redo her room the way she wanted. Option B, she hadn't always had her own room, and there's no indication that her mother was unhappy with her choices, so those options don't quite fit. Overall, this slide emphasizes the joy and empowerment that comes with making personal choices about our living spaces. Now, let's take a closer look at question 5. In this poem, we see a girl standing by the window, observing the world outside. Notice that no one, not even an animal, is out there. The wind is softly blowing, and rain begins to fall, creating a somber, contemplative atmosphere. As the clouds roll in and thunder sounds, the girl's feelings seem to mirror her surroundings. She appears to be looking through the window into her own mood, which suggests a deep connection between her emotions and the weather. The question asks us to choose the best description of her mood based on these clues. We have 4 options: liking to be alone, feeling sad and unhappy, being scared of the rain, or feeling excited. Considering the imagery, the rain, thunder, and the girl's reflective stance, it's most consistent with feelings of sadness or unhappiness. The weather is often used in literature and poetry to symbolize melancholy or introspection. So the key point here is that the weather and her demeanor point toward a mood of sadness. This helps us understand how the poem uses nature as a mirror for the girl's inner feelings. Remember, this ties back to the larger theme of how emotions can be reflected through our surroundings and perceptions. All right, now it's time for your assignment. Please take out your notebooks and copy down what I'm about to say. First, read and study about PRECIS. Make sure you understand what it means and how it's used. Remember, PRECIS is all about summarizing or capturing the main idea of a text in a clear and concise way. It's a useful skill because it helps you focus on the most important information without getting lost in unnecessary details. For your reference, you can check out the link provided. N6 Olive 3:6. Use this to deepen your understanding. So your task is to write your own PRECIS and then review it to see if it effectively captures the core message of the original content. This exercise will help you develop better summarization skills, which are essential in both academic work and everyday reading. Keep focused, and don't forget to apply what we've discussed today about being clear and concise. Good luck.